Did you know? The Felix R. Hidalgo Street in Quiapo was once considered the most beautiful street in Manila. Named after the famous 19th-century Filipino painter, Felix R. Hidalgo Street in Quiapo, Manila is known for connecting two churches, the San Sebastian Basilica and the Basilica of Quiapo. Although it is now filled with illegal settlers, dilapidated houses, and commercial establishments, our Hidalgo Street was not like this centuries ago. In fact, it was called the most beautiful street in Manila in 1817, mainly because of the grand mansions that once stood in the area. Formerly known as San Sebastian Street, the R. Hidalgo Street was once home to upper and middle-class families during the Spanish era. According to Dr. Fernando Nacbals Ilcita, an anthropology professor who studied Manila's historical streets, the thoroughfare was a preferred location because it was near schools, churches, the Malacanang, and several recreational centers on Rizal Avenue. Unfortunately, the once celebrated street started to decline during the 1960s. Did you know? The British invaded and ruled Manila for 2 years, 1762 to 1764. The 2-year British invasion of Manila was one of the consequences of the 7 Years' War, 1756 to 1763, which pitted the British against France and its allies including Spain. Although the war was mainly fought in Europe, it also reached the colonies of the involved countries. At that time, the British had already established the East India Company, which saw the conflict as an opportune time to invade the Philippines. The British Army arrived in the Philippine archipelago on September 23, 1762, with 15 ships and more than 6,000 troops, led by Brigadier General William Draper and Rear Admiral Samuel Cornish. The news about the invasion already reached Archbishop Miguel Rojo, then acting Governor General, the day before. As a result, Manila was put in state of defense. However, the British fleet successfully arrived in Manila Bay, and plans of a widespread attack in Manila were made afterward. The British Army eventually captured the fort of Polvorista, but the subsequent murder of their soldiers by the Spaniards forced Brig. Gen. Draper to send a threatening letter to Archbishop Rojo. The latter responded with a letter of apology, along with a request to release Antonio Tagle, the Archbishop's nephew who had been captured. The British agreed to free Tagle, but he was murdered, along with British Lieutenant Fryar, upon arrival. The incident infuriated the British even more, and they started to destroy Intramuros the following day. The bombardment continued until 6 October when the Spanish finally surrendered the city to the invaders. The British occupation would last for 2 years, but their power would not extend beyond Manila and Cavite thanks to Governor Simon de Anda y Salazar, who moved to Bacolor, Pampanga, and continued to fight for more than a year and a half. The British officially left the Philippines after the signing of the Treaty of Paris in 1764.